Well. Smart move or big risk? Following our relegation to League One, we are facing a defining moment. The search for the new manager isn't just about tactics and experience. It's about vision. It's about progression. It's about building for the future. But most of all, it's about changing the culture and finding the right man for the job. I talked about recently in the Gary O'Neill video the need to break the cycle, change the culture, change the vision of the whole club. Enter Brian Barry Murphy, a coach whose progressive philosophy, commitment to youth development has really turned heads. But is he the right fit for Cardiff City? Yes, my guys, I'm Sai. Welcome back to another episode of the Breakdown Extra. Tonight, today, this morning, we are looking at Brian Barry Murphy, who has been linked to the Cardiff City job. Not the job I would give him, actually. We've talked about that. But I will expand on that a little bit at the end of the video. But he is in the frame for the Cardiff City job. I don't think he'll get it. I think he's a bit too outside the box for him. But he is in the frame. He has impressed. He has caught the eye. So let's talk about it. Brian Barry Murphy's football journey began in Cork, Ireland, before he ventured into the English football with stints at Preston North End, Sheffield Wednesday, Bury and Rochdale. It was at Rochdale he transitioned from a player to a coach and eventually took the managerial reins in 2019. Barry Murphy's first senior manager role was Rochdale. He stepped up in February 2019. During a very difficult period for the club, Rochdale was struggling big time in League One. They were facing the real threat of relegation. He immediately set about stamping his football philosophy on the team. His Rochdale side played possession-based football. They focused on building from the back, dominating midfield. Barry Murphy's preferred system was a 4-3-3, where he encouraged fluid interplay, movement, rotation between the players, between the midfielders and the forwards particularly. But he demanded a real high work rate and tactical discipline. Under Brian Barry Murphy, Rochdale's average possession climbed to 52%, which is not bad for League One, you know. They ranked in the top third of the division for pass completion at roughly 78%, according to FBref. Now, remember, this is the team who was threatened with relegation when he came in. Their style reflected a commitment to playing attractive football, which was a breath of fresh air for a team which was fighting relegation. It's also a brave decision. So often we see managers come in who are looking to save teams from relegation, and it's back to basics, back four, back five, lump it up to the striker, work the channels. I understand it, but it's quite refreshing to see someone go, no, let's play football. Defensively, the team were really aggressive in the way they pressed. They averaged over 13 successful tackles and interceptions per game, according to SofaScore, showing that they weren't just about pretty passing with no end result, but also hard work, winning the ball back quickly. Something which Cardiff City greatly lack, by the way. When Barry Murphy took over, Rochdale were bottom of the table. By the end of that season, they'd climbed to 18th. They secured their League One status, and the following season, despite COVID interruptions, they consolidated it again by finishing 18th, playing football that the fans appreciated and enjoyed. Key players flourished underneath Barry Murphy. Striker Ian Henderson benefited from the attacking structure and the support from the wings. Barry Murphy's tactical approach helped players to develop technically and tactically. You look at the key stats. Rochdale's expected goals rose modestly to about 1.12 per game versus the average League One XG was 1.05. Goals conceded dropped to around 1.3 when it had previously been at 1.5. These numbers reflect a steady progress at both ends of the pitch. While Rochdale never really pushed for promotion and kicked on under Barry Murphy, what he did do is he laid really solid foundations. He created a clear identity, playing style, and he got a lot of respect and admiration because of that, because of the ambition and the coherence that he showed. His approach was modern, very thoughtful, but he also had that old school mentality when it came to work rate. And it was, as I said, it was so refreshing to see. And you speak to people within football and the media, he is about as highly rated as you can get as a coach and as a football mind. Because of that stint at Rochdale, people saw that you can be successful and still play football. It doesn't have to go dinosaur style to be successful in the lower leagues or to avoid relegation, whatever it may be. Barry Murphy's coaching philosophy, it does center on fluid attacking football, but it's rooted in possession and positional play. His team there's a big emphasis on playing out from the back, but it's more about controlling the tempo and maintaining tactical flexibility. He can go a little bit more direct if he needs to. He encouraged his teams to play over the press and then play from midfield. Very, very adaptable from a tactical point of view. At Rochdale, this was a 4-3-3 with a real dynamic midfield. But when he moved on to Manchester City's elite development squad, that's when you really saw his variations and his adaptability to exploit opposition weaknesses. That adaptability was a massive part, and some would say the key to the success in the youth competitions, including back-to-back Premier League 2s in 22 and 23. His time with Manchester City's elite development squad was marked not only by trophies, but by developing young stars who you are seeing today. James McAtee, Oscar Bob, Carlos Borges, Shea Charles are just a few players who stepped into senior football with promise. Another one who excelled and improved under Brian Barry Murphy was Liam Delap, who is looking at a big money move from Ipswich Town this summer. Barry Murphy's eye for talent, his talent for nurturing young players, would fit perfectly with the squad that Cardiff have in terms of the first team and the players coming through. Especially then when you consider like not just the 21s, but the 18s, the 17s. There's so much talent there. The new training ground plans, the new academy is all there. More than tactics, though. Barry Murphy is praised for his leadership qualities. Emotionally intelligent. He's calm. And that emotionally intelligent, calm demeanor and the ability to foster a professional, high-standard environment is what he's known for. But he's also known for demanding severe discipline and respect. What this does is it creates a really positive culture that encourages players to grow both on and off the pitch. He expects high standards. He expects professionalism on and off the pitch. In December 2024, Brian Barry Murphy was appointed as there's differing reports on his role. Some say he was assistant manager to Ruud van Nistelrooy. Some say he's a technical coach. He was appointed to Van Nistelrooy's coaching team. That role was given to him, has given him experience in the Premier League. Like, he's worked at Man City, he's worked at Leicester now, but he's also worked in the lower leagues. He is working closely in a top flight environment, further development and almost he's further developing what is already a very, very impressive coaching skill set, reputation, and his attributes and traits are unbelievably exciting. His work with Leicester has been commended by the players, the staff alike, and he has a big attention to detail. So when he's looking at opponents, he can be flexible with his systems, personnel, but also his man management with players. That emotional intelligence that we just talked about. All players have different personalities. We saw that at Cardiff last year. Not one player has got the exact same thought process or way of dealing with pressure or bad moments. Having a manager or coaches who are intelligent enough and emotionally intelligent enough to manage those personalities is vital. For a manager or a coach like Brian Barry Murphy, Cardiff City might present a fascinating opportunity. As we've talked about before, you've got a passionate fan base, you've got the city, you've got the club with the infrastructure, the projects underway, you've got the stadium, the academy, the training grounds coming, group of really talented youngsters. And some of those youngsters have already got a reputation within the development setup around the UK and Europe. So Brian Barry Murphy will be well aware of some of those really exciting players, the Dylan Lawlers and the Joel Colwells of the world. He will already know about them. And that is a group of players that he could help bring through and really achieve something with Cardiff City. As the capital of Wales, Cardiff offers a platform to build a reputation, a competitive team, but it can also reflect what his philosophy is. Youth-focused, possession-based, and ambitious. Let's have a look at some of the pros and some of the cons. Appointing Brian Barry Murphy would be bold. It would be so unlike Cardiff. A real outside-the-box progressive pick, which would signal an intent to evolve the football, the style, the culture, everything at the club. It would be a real outside-the-box pick. You know, you look at the plus points. He's proven with youth. He's proven with a long-term plan. He's tactically adaptable. He's done it in League One, so he knows what to expect. He enjoys attacking football. He has strong leadership, but also wants to instill that in his team. But of course, there's risks. Brian Barry Murphy's senior experience is very limited. He's managed Rochdale, and then the rest of his roles have been at coaching or in the development system. League One is physical and competitive, so it's a big challenge, one that he is familiar with. Plus, his current role at Leicester may provide a little bit of complications. I don't think they would, because if I'm being honest, I think Van Nistelrooy probably gets the sack in the summer. Limited senior manager experience, currently with Leicester. The League One demands, I'm less worried about that with him, because I actually think he's been there, he knows what to expect. So it's one of them. In conclusion, Brian Barry Murphy is a modern, progressive manager with a clear footballing philosophy. He has proven ability to develop young talent, proven to have a positive influence on the culture and mentality in dressing rooms. Cardiff City's next chapter is really going to hinge on this appointment. Who they appoint as manager is going to be massive. And I don't know what the right answer is at this point, but appointing a visionary like Brian Barry Murphy to lead the Bluebirds into what we hope is a revolution would not be the worst idea. He is probably not my first pick, but that's not because necessarily of his skill set. I actually think, if I'm being completely honest, if I could pick what I wanted, it would be Nathan Jones as manager, Aaron Ramsey as assistant player manager, with Chris Gunter as like number 3. And then I would go and appoint Brian Barry Murphy as technical director of Cardiff City, and I would appoint Stephen McPhail as director of football. And I believe that those appointments would take Cardiff City in the short, mid, and long term into the real revolution that we all want to see. But the question remains, is Brian Barry Murphy the progressive one? Is he the leader to start that revolution? Let me know what you think, because he is one who's excited me for a while. I've talked about him before many times. So excited by him. His reputation is wild, like he's so highly thought of, so talented. A little whisper that he has some interest in the job. Interesting. Let me know what you think. Keep the faith. Be a member. Join, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. In a bit.